Hello and welcome to Yarn ChickHen, Vlogmas Day 5 with Mrs. T and friends. And I'm Mrs. T, and we finally made it to the weekend for me. And so now I can show you where I've gotten to. So where I've gotten to, first of all, I wrote show notes today. So one of the first things I think I should talk about is we found the microphones, but for some reason we can't seem to get them to work. But that's okay, because I had a brilliant idea. Why don't we just use my earbuds? So we did a few tests and they seem to be working. So until we upload it and put it on the YouTube, we'll find out whether or not how well they work. But they do work and they are picking me up, and they're also picking up Mr. T's voice. Say hello.
Hello. Happy Friday. Hello. Happy Vlogmas Day 5.
Excellent. So that's good. So we'll see how this goes along, and hopefully this will solve the problem with the woman who very few people say they can't hear. And also, I did finally finish day 2 of my Buttercup Miniatures Advent. I know I'm 3 days behind, but I'm fine with that because I have lots of time to catch up. And the thing I found with miniature knitting is it does take longer than bigger knitting does because the stitches are a lot smaller, and it's really easy to make a mistake if you think you can go really fast and then you make a mistake and you're like, whoa, when did I do that? So it's better just to take your time and go slower anyway. I do have it here, and I'm just going to show you a little far away of it because Mr. T, he's going to insert photos because we took some really nice up-close photos. But that's the end of day 2 for the little jumper. Can you see that?
Yes, it's very clear.
Okay. And he will show you better photos of that. Show you better photos of that. Also, yesterday when I had my brain fart and I couldn't remember Carrie Lord's name, this is the book I was talking about. Is that focusing?
Yes, my book, Edward's book.
And so you can see that it's Carrie Lord. And I wasn't going crazy. And she also is of Toft. And they do have their own yarn line. And I know they have loads of kits and all kinds of things. So you could probably go to their website. You go onto a search engine of your choice, and you could probably find their website. But this is one of my favorite books. I've made lots of things out of Edward's Menagerie. She's got a lot of other books too. She does a lot of different things. So it's worth giving her a look up because she's very, very good. UK terms she uses, but it's my understanding that she has US terms in her books in the US. So they've done their due diligence in editing. And the next thing, notes here. And I decided that, me and Mr. T decided, it wasn't just me, it was me and Mr. T, it was his suggestion, to be honest, to give you another Scottish word. He thinks it's fun to do one a day, so we'll see. We'll see how long that lasts, because I know we did we meaning little or small, and we double E, double E, we, not we, but we.
Or wee.
Or wee. We're not talking about wee-wees either. We, as in little. And so today's word is shoogle. So if any of you drink tea and you leave it and you put it in and you pour your water in and then you want it to fuse through the tea a little bit, you get the teapot by the handle, and you give it a little, and you do a little bit of that with it. That's shoogling. So you give it a wee shoogle. Give it a wee shoogle so that way the water gets through all the tea leaves and everything and helps it to get through all the water. I can't even think of the word I'm looking for. Seep, that's the word. So it helps it to seep through all the water so you have a really good, so you give it a bit of a shoogle. So that's the word today. Scottish word of the day, shoogle. And let's see. So I'm going to talk about the knitting needles now. So like I said, I was watching Nimble Needles and Norman was going, he did a whole episode on miniature knitting. And I was watching it because I thought, oh, I need to get some miniature knitting needles because when I got this Edwardian, sorry about that, it's not sliding as easily as I thought. When I got this Edwardian style hand knitted handbook, it was telling me the different size needles and things I'll need to be able to do this. And there's actually the page there. I don't know how well you can see that, Mr. T. Is that good?
Good enough, yes.
Okay. Doesn't tell any patterns or anything, so that's something, that's just a list of things that you can need. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll need to find some miniature knitting needles. And then when I'd seen him and he had done I think he'd done a comparison video to the needles that he found, but he didn't find any in the UK. He got his where he was living, and he got some in the United States, but didn't get any. And the biggest problem was he didn't have the knitting needle size that I was recommended in this book. So I thought, oh, and I thought, surely the UK, if we've got this little knitting book, surely people are still mini knitting. So I did some searches and I found 3 different places that sell the needles, 2 of which have the size needle that they ask for in here, which is a UK size 20, and it's also a 0.90 millimeter. So it's the size just under 1 millimeter. And 2 companies had that, and then the third one didn't have that, but it had all the other sizes. So the first one was the Knitting Lady, and she has sizes all the way from 14 down to 24 UK. And if you're in the UK, you know what I mean by down to 24, because the sizes get smaller and smaller and smaller the higher the number goes. But if you're anywhere else, it's probably easier just to say she has sizes from 2 millimeters all the way down to 0.55 millimeters. And I did get her needles, and this is how they came. I bought several sets, but this is the one I'll show you. This is how they came, and this nice little protective cover, and it's got the size in millimeters on that size and the UK size on that size. And it says exactly what's on the outside is what's inside. And so when you open it, not only do you have the plastic sleeve, you've got this nice cardboard. I mean, the packaging is just fantastic. So you've got this nice cardboard, and of course it's almost like her calling card as well, because she's got all her information on there. And then she's got the little guys in there taped. Now I've taken these out and put them back in, so the tape's looking a bit manky. That's another Scottish word. But a little dirty, but it didn't come like this. I've done that. Me and my grubby little fingers have made the tape that dirty, but they actually come cleaner than that. And so that's the size, and very good packaging. Dropped my sleeve. And the next one I want to talk about, which is also a local maker, is Sharonsminiknits. And her little knitting needles, look like the normal little knitting needles with the little balls on the end to stop your stitches coming off that end. I'm just saying to say, the Knitting Lady has some of those too. I like double pointed needles, so that's the reason why I got these. But she does have needles that have the stoppers on the end that are permanently there, that you can get those as well. I just like the double pointed. The reason I got these is because Sharonsminiknits doesn't have those. She doesn't have DPNs, so I got what she had. because she had the size I needed, which is a 0.0 or 0.90 millimeter, which is what's recommended, one of the size needles recommended in this book. So I got that, and she's got sizes. She's got the sizes, she's only got 3 sizes, but she's got a size 19, which is a 1 millimeter. She's got a size UK 20, which is a 0.90 millimeter, which is the one I bought. And she's got a size UK size 21, which is a 0.80 millimeter. But those are the only 3 she has, but those are the ones that most of these, like this book here, those are the ones that they recommend, or usually those 3 sizes for mini knitting. And then the third one I got off of Amazon. And it comes in this little thing. I guess it's little pleather case. And comes wrapped in this already. And it came in a really good little box as well. I mean, they all came in really, really well packaged. When they came, they were, you don't have to worry about them getting bent or anything. Very well packaged. And that's how this one came. And these, they have no size 20. They don't have a 0.90 millimeter. So if you're looking for that on Amazon, they don't have it. They're not going to have it. But they do have a 0.8. They have a 1 millimeter, a 1.20 millimeter, a 1.5 millimeter, a 1.8 millimeter, a 2 millimeter, and a 2.2 millimeter. So really their smallest size is the 0.8 millimeter. So, they really, even Sharonsminiknits has smaller sizes than the Amazon. But in saying that, we'll go into how I like them. We'll put up pictures and everything of the little swatches and stuff I did. These are great. I had no problems with them. The thing I will say about all 3 of these needles, they will bend. They're teeny tiny, thin needles, and they will have a bit of bend to them. It's just the nature of them. They're too thin. You can't make something hard that thin. And I think personally, the bending helped me knit better. If they don't bend, you probably snap them because of the way you knit. So you need a bit of give. So I'm quite happy that all 3 of them have a bit of give, because I think I'd snap the needle in half or bend it, and then it'd probably break, type of thing. But they all have a little bit of bending. But these were quite easy to use. The very tips you'll see in the pictures, the very tips are slightly blunted, and I'm sure that's to keep you from poking yourself, because these guys, also quite bendy, also very easy to use, were a bit sharper. They do have a bit of a sharper point. You'll see that in the photos too. They do have a bit of a sharper point, so there is a bit, if you're not careful, scraping on your finger, depending on how you knit. I don't knit that I have a problem with it hitting my finger, so I'm okay. But I did do the finger poking test to see, and it is a bit sharp. It's not as smooth as the other 2, but still very easy to use. I had no problem using them. And then these guys, these are probably the most polished tips. They don't have the end cut off to be blunted. They do have a little bit more of a sharper tip that's not sharp, if that makes sense. In other words, it's not going to scrape across or poke you like a sewing needle or anything. But it's very nicely made. The other difference is with these, you just get the 2 needles because they're just normal pair of knitting needles. These is the old school, so you get 4, because it used to be you always bought 4. You'd always get packs of 4 for double pointed needles. I'm sure there's some places that sold only 3, and I'm sure, possibly there's places that sold 5, but for a very long time, you only ever got 4. And then in recent years, you get 5. And so the Amazon ones, when you buy them, you get 5 of them. But they're also shorter. They're a centimeter shorter than these two, than these ones. These two are both 14 centimeters, and this one's 15. Like I said, it does exactly what it says on the tin. And but I'm quite happy with all of them. I have to say, for choice of the smaller sizes, the Knitting Lady's got the best choice. I mean, she's got a lot of sizes, and they're very well made and they're nice. If you're struggling to find them, wherever you are, then these are good. But like I said, they just don't have that 0.90 millimeter size. But these were really nice too, and they do have the 5 needles if that means anything to you. And then these ones are they're really good. I mean, aside from them being just a little bit more rough on the edge than the other two, they're still really easy to handle. So I'd be hard pushed to pick one that I liked more than the other. Mostly because, oh, I beg your pardon, these are actually 15 centimeters long. I said that wrong. Sorry. But they're all, I liked them all. I did. I liked them all. I can't say there's anything wrong with any of them. Like I said, the if you want to pick something apart, only having 3 sizes, that might be something that you don't like. And this one not having that 0.9 millimeter size, that might put you off. And but this one here, she's got the most sizes, and she also has, like I said, normal knitting pins with the edges on them. Hers are actually stainless steel. They're not these pretty little pearl things. Hers are stainless steel. I didn't buy any of those, like I said, because I didn't actually want any. But because this is all she sold, and I was trying to try them out, and I needed that 0.9 millimeter for these patterns, I bought it to try it. So, but I do like them. I'm in the end, but I like these because I can rescue myself a lot with them, with the DPNs. And if you use DPNs, and you know what I mean by rescue. And so that's that. And so now, by the magic of editing, my husband's going to show you a montage of all these needles and the photos up close so you can see what they look like. And you can pause if you want to pause, because there's enough of he's done enough of a seconds so that if you want to pause it and get a better look, you can. So here we go. Okay, so hopefully you were able to really see what I was talking about when I was talking about the blunted ends of the needles. And you can't really see the roughness of these ones, but they're not that rough because they weren't catching my wool or anything like that. So, don't think that just because they're rough, they must be bad. They weren't catching the wool. They weren't splitting it. They were perfectly fine. I'm just saying, because it's something you need to know. Although, in saying all that, these are the ones I'm using. They're just some double-pointed needle thing I bought off of Amazon, and I got like 55 needles for 8 pounds, something like that. And the small size was a 2 mil, so that's what I've been using. Only because I got my gauge with it. If not, I probably would have had to size down, or size up. But I got my gauge with that, so I'm all right. So that's all about the needles. I told you it'd be a longer video today because I had the time. And also I did do the research, and happily I made notes so I could try to keep myself on track. So if you'd like this, could you please click the like button? And if you want to comment, I'll be happy to hear what you have to say. You can comment below. And if you could subscribe, I'd appreciate you if you could subscribe. And I'm sorry I'm blinking so much. I'm a little bit blinded by the lights, and I looked right at one, and I probably shouldn't have done that. And pardon me, excuse me. Also, I would like to thank all my subscribers. All the subscribers that subscribed from day one, and all the subscribers that have subscribed since then. And I think the last count I had 10 subscribers. So I'm quite pleased with that. A bit surprised, but I'm pleased. So well done, all of us. Woo! Yes, Mr. T.
The channel actually got its first notification from YouTube. You had 10 subscribers.
Woo! I got a notification from YouTube. Woo! Well, that's great. So I think this has been real fun. Aside from my hunt of a microphone that decided it wasn't going to work anyway, we've had a pretty good day. So thank you for listening and enjoying Vlogmas Day 5, 2025. Bye for now. Bye.